Morning. Okay, Jay is, kind of running late. Uh, Absolutely, I've got things going on today, later on, so I guess I got to fix myself a little bit, maybe fix my hair. Not look like I just rolled out of bed all the time, but, KJ's, I'm on it. I'm on it. 5 days, y'all. 5 days till Christmas is here. 4 days. 4 days until Ma and Pa visit everyone on Christmas Eve. I put an announcement of a live stream on Christmas Eve, and I hope you will join me and Mr. Wayne. We're going to once again bring a little holiday cheer to all you lovely folk. Good morning, Fancy Nancy, Olive Heatley, Beach Lady, Vix Tex. Now, I told y'all I was going to kind of share with y'all some of the gifts up till Christmas that I've been accumulating for family members. Well, I guess I could kind of share two of them today. One is every Christmas, my sons get Frosty Blue Cream Soda. They get like a 6-pack of it a piece. There's a story behind it, and they only get it from old KJ every Christmas. Because when they were young, I'd say around age 10 to 12, right up the street from where they lived, that my boys would go walk over to the store. We lived in a little small town. Back then, you didn't worry about somebody abducting your children. But they'd walk up there, I'd give them a little handful of change, and they'd go up there to the store on a hot day, and they'd get them a blue cream soda and stand outside the store and drink it. It was something they used to talk about all the time. Mom, you remember when you used to give us your change out of your purse, and we'd run up to the store and get a blue cream soda. So I get them a 6-pack of this every year. You can't really get it in stores all the time. You have to look. I have to order them. Maybe some of y'all know where you can get them all the time, but blue cream soda, Frosty Blue Cream Soda. That's what I got the boys for Christmas. Some of it anyway. And then when it comes to family members or neighbors, I get them all a Farmer's Almanac, a new calendar. They got all these calendars out here with the cute little puppies on it, or flowers, or waterfalls. Well, OKJ likes the Farmer's Almanac calendar. It's chock full of information. It's been around for a long time. So, yes, I get a bunch of these, and I give them. I know that seems like, well, give them a flimsy calendar. Well, this is a Farmer's Almanac. This is a Farmer's Almanac calendar, and it works. Good morning. Yes, Rita Mae's Resale says, I love the Farmer's Almanac. Olive Heatley says, lovely idea. Good morning, Nicole. Good morning, Great Day Mom. Good morning, Peggy. Kathy Gregg. How's there? Hi, Olive. Olive, I'm going to have to get with you. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I will announce that I did mail off Eric Jasper's cup and Donna Donald's cup. But when I went to mail yours, I had to fill out this form, and it talks about the address, the district, and all that. I know it's Belfast, but what I'm saying is I don't know, because your address is really weird to me. I'm just an old country girl. So somehow, some way, I'm going to have to get with you. I'll probably do it here within the next couple of days, where you're going to have to sit down, and I'm going to say, okay, for instance, district. And of course, you're going to have to email that to Cresha, and so she can send it a screenshot to me where I can fill out this form. Because I'm going to be up front. It just looks crazy. I mean, I see the Belfast, I see the Ireland, and I see that maybe that top address is the actual street you live on. But there's other stuff in there that I have no idea how to fill out this paperwork. So I am not giving up. You are going to get your KJ in the Ray Cup. I just want you to know it's going to be I'm going to have to deal with all that. Good morning, Carrie Richards. I live by the almanac, says Fancy Nancy. Gave my brother-in-law one. There you go. Hello, Just Me. Good morning, Vix Tex. Yes, Vix Tex says my granddad was from Belfast. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I've never, other than getting stuff shipped to me from a past foreign exchange student's parents, I had an exchange student who was from Italy, and they sent this great big box of pasta and all kind of good stuff. I've never once in my life ever sent something overseas. I know that's silly, isn't it? But it's true. Everyone here in the States, that's a whole different ball game, but Olive, we'll get it worked out. No, Olive, I'm going to get it to you. I'm a woman of my word. Nicole, those were some leftover KJ and the Ray mugs that I had bought from Cresha K. Easton's Difficult Research. I had bought a bunch of them. And so I talked to Cresha about it, and I said, well, I'll just go ahead and give these away to people on this channel. But she's got some KJ and the Ray mugs on her merch shop now. She's got a tote. I think Fancy Nancy got her one, I think. It says KJ and the Ray, and it's not really about me. It's about the Rays, right? A research, analysis, and you. She's got awesome merchandise. And I'm going to tell you what, it's been my experience when I have ordered something off that merchandise store there. It comes quickly. It's good. It's reasonably priced. And most importantly, it supports Cresha K. Easton of Difficult Research. Yes, Fancy Nancy says you can go on Difficult Research and purchase one. So there you go. So anyway, so today is Wednesday, and again, it's 5 days till Christmas, 4 days till Christmas Eve. And most of the time I don't have anything that, put together. You never know where this is going. This is just an open channel for all the Rays and OKJ to get together, to see things through, to get justice through understanding until Chad Daybell's trial is here. As many of you know, I'm not going to be covering Arizona at all, but I will say this, Justin Lum did come out that the judge did order that they can seal up the evidence coming from Idaho to Arizona for Lori's upcoming Arizona trial, which that's no big deal because we knew that they were going to have to do that. So, hello, Tina Reddington. So, anyway, as the years have gone by, how many times did all of us, when we were waiting and waiting and waiting, we didn't know when Chad and Lori were going to be tried. Then we didn't know how it was all going to work out once they severed the cases. Things just kept going on and on and on. We were all just like, is this ever going to happen? And all of that, that we kind of did whatever we could do to kind of stay connected, or at least I tried. And during all this now, sometimes y'all will see something on this channel that's got absolutely nothing to do with any of the casework that we're looking at. But it's just a way to kind of keep things interesting, and OKJ loves to do it. We walked the loneliest mile. The motels. That song is KJ's old favorite song. I thought I would enlighten everyone with my silliness. Some of y'all thought it was funny. Some of y'all thought it was serious. That's the cool thing when I read the comments. Everyone sees it through their own eyes, what they're going to see, and nobody is right or wrong. I just thought I'd do that just to kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a way for me to alleviate the seriousness of everything that we talk about. Example, I put on the community wall specificity of what Ruby Franke had done to her 2 children. Remember the last time we talked about Ruby Franke, I was sure that it was all going to be about she's going to plead guilty, she's never going to have to face anything, we're never going to know Well, again, as always, y'all, KJ was wrong. There were absolutely specificity in what went on with all that. So when you take into consideration her crafted attorney's statement there saying she's a devoted mother, how many devoted mothers are going to take their child and put them underwater or hold their hand over their mouth or nose or kick them with a boot on, or, it goes on and on and on. I looked on this one post that's been pretty accurate through all of that Ruby Franke stuff. You type in Ruby Franke Reddit, and you're going to go on Reddit, and there's all these people that for the longest time since all this went down have gotten into specificity about how, she did, she was like this to her kids when she was with 8 passengers, or she, they know their stuff. They know the family relationships. They know the parents' names, Ruby's parents' names. They know the whole 9 yards. But when this legal document came out, they blacked it out on Reddit and said, out of respect for the minors and the children, we're not going to show this, although everyone on there in their comments knew exactly. They read it themselves. They were just not going to put it on there like OKJ did. I put it on there. Well, that just seems a little bit strange to me. It sounds like a wonderful idea, right? Just black out everything, but let everybody know that Ruby abused her children. We're just not going to tell you the specific details of it out of respect for the children. Well, if you go back through the whole time eternal on that whole Reddit stream, everybody and their mama on there had something specific to say about these children throughout. A lot of it included opinions. So it's just kind of weird to me how, at 1 minute there, it's all hold no bar. You can say whatever the hell you want to say, and the next minute they're going to redact it. So it was really weird, and I thought, well, what's that all about? Because they sure haven't kept themselves from opinions that involve talking about those minors, and all the other legal documents and things that were put on there. None of that was redacted, but then again, to each their own. I get the sentiment, but I don't understand, this whole idea that, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to redact all this, but because we want to respect the minors, but they have been knee-deep in the whole thing the whole time. So I don't know. Ann Gibson says, don't get me started about Ruby. That woman was cruel for years when she had her channel. Good morning, Maria P. Good morning, Mark McGarry. Mark says, no. So Chad's trial is counting down the days as Fool's Day coming up fast. Yes. And there'll be some more pre-trial stuff, Mr. McGarry, Mr. M. It's gonna start kind of rolling in. I do believe that this whole thing going on in Arizona, they're going to move that out some more. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Olive Heatley says, despicable woman. Tina Reddington tells Mr. M, hello there, Mark. Olive Heatley says, those poor kids. So anyway, I did post that, and then when I went on Reddit, and they were acting like, oh, we're not going to show you the details out of respect for the kids. I'm like, wait a minute. Do I feel bad for listing out what happened to the kids? Well, I confess that I wasn't thinking along those lines, but, folks, here's the bottom line. People want to say that, out of respect for minors and all this and that. And then, of course, when you get into legality, everything's sealed, and rightly so. The bottom line is that KJ feels like it needs to just be out there. Not out there like some people that want to publish autopsy photos of little Gannon there. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about, let's look at it. I mean, society's been looking at everything that people do all this time. Crazy stuff. Terrible, evil stuff. We see it in the news lines all the time. Even if we don't click on the article to get specificity. Just the article itself You know, this man, on East Idaho News, he kills 4 family members and he gets a plea deal. I mean, out of Kellogg, I guess that's Kellogg, Idaho. You know, things like that. You see it in the headlines. And again, if you don't click on it, you don't get specificity. But, I mean, even the headlines are hard to deal with. Eric Jasper says, I couldn't believe the vids with her making the kids repeat their bodies weren't theirs. She owned them. Who does that? Who does that to a child? And they thought she needed a deal, again, at children's expense, says Eric Jasper. Good point, Eric. The bottom line is this, unless Jody, and I think it's the 27th, was a hearing thing set up for Jody Hillebrand, just as there was one set up for the 18th, which Ruby did confirm in her hearing there, that when the judge asked her when she signed that agreement, she said she signed it on the 18th. The same day she met with him, she signed it. So if Jody Hillebrand, they're going to have another one for her, which you're getting mixed signals. Because one minute they're saying Ruby's going to plead guilty and she promises to testify against Jody Hillebrand, which makes me think, well, okay, they're going to take Jody Hillebrand to trial. But on the other hand, maybe this is a way for them to get her to come to the table and accept her responsibility in all this. And I guess the question really is Jody Hillebrand going to take it all the way? Can she admit she was wrong? I mean, hey, if anybody thinks Ruby Franke was doing the right thing by confessing all this and all that, yes, in a lot of ways, but what other choice did she have? Does anybody believe that if she wouldn't have got busted, that she would at some point stopped doing what she was doing? She had it ready. She said, out of sorrow, I regret this, or something to that effect. Well, she sure didn't have a problem putting one of their children's heads underwater. And it's sad. I mean, that's worse. Well, not really worse, but when I read that, it's like, wow. I thought it was the worst of the worst with the duct tape. But now they got her putting a child's head underwater and putting her hand on their face to keep them from breathing and extending, feet and hands up off the ground? I mean, how does that work? Another situation where I feel punishment for punishment. She should get exactly what she did to her kids for the rest of her days while she's in there. Is that in line with how God wants me to think? Says Nicole. KJ, people need to know exactly what she did. I understand about the children, but it's out in the open. Ruby will never be able to deny it. And Ann Gibson, you're correct. It's just like what Cresha K. Easton of Difficult Research says. You know, the light is disinfecting, right? To talk about these difficult things and all of that, I mean, that is the light of truth shining in. And you know what? When people think the light of truth, they think it's all supposed to be enlightening and wonderful. Well, sometimes truth involves serious heartbreak, serious, terrible things that people need to acknowledge. That this shit goes on, y'all. This evil goes on. Hi, Mariah Stostola. Olive says, was watching 48 Hours Chad's kids interview. Was hard to watch and believe it all again. Well, Olive, I'll tell you what. They're locked in. They're locked in. That's what they are. They're locked into what, it goes right along, right, with what John Pryor's been talking about. In his motions, it's all Lori and all this and that. And then you got Emma on this Dateline saying if Lori would have never been there, this would have never happened. Well, guess what, Emma? If Chad Daybell wouldn't have been thinking with his Johnson, none of this would have ever happened. He could have very easily, when he met Lori at that conference, be flattered and all that, but he didn't have to take it a step further and get into an adulterous affair. So this whole idea that this was all on Lori, Chad Daybell's the one that come up with the narrative and the script, and they went along. And he crafted that script beyond James and Elena, to include things in that script that would please Lori. Norma Guerrero says you have consequences to your actions. Yes. And Norma, we're finding out that, a lot of times, and I've talked about it, that the punishment doesn't fit the crime, but at least they're getting punished, right? Or some don't. The justice system is broken here in America. It's been broken for a long time. That's just my view. And, they're thinking about these perpetrators more than they're thinking of the victims. Eric says, Mom and Dad always said for every action, there's going to be a reaction. You're right. It's called cause and effect, Eric. It's a person can be so, Let's just for sake of argument, Lori was delusional, right? And in her mind, everything she did was not bad. It was all for the betterment and all this and that. Well, if your motive is pure, I want something good to happen, how does it end up in murder? How does that happen? It doesn't line up. It's called the fruits of your motivations and all of that. Good morning, Mary Seidler. Yes, Ann Gibson, that's right. We all of us have temptations throughout our life. It's what choices we make. That's the way it is. It's just the way it is. So, back to this Ruby Frank thing. Hold on, I got to let the cat out. Here you go. All right, there you go. Sometimes I feel like a slave to my cats, but I'm the one that trained them, so I only have myself to blame. But anyway, back to this Ruby Frankie thing. I just wonder, can anybody answer this question for me? Did Ruby Frankie and her husband get sealed in the temple? Does anybody know? This question's leading to something else that's going to be going on here pretty soon, of some content that I've been analyzing and researching. Does anybody know whether Ruby Frankie and her husband Kevin were sealed in the temple? Because I don't know. I don't know. And yes, I'm going to go there. But I do need help with, if any of y'all have any information at all. Eric says he don't know. Leanne Jordan says, I bet good money they were. Well, Olive, it's got nothing to do with Kevin filing for divorce. Because this is going to go into something else that I'm going to shoot a pre-record on. Rachel Black says, I'm sure they were. There are so many pics of them in front of the temple. Okay, Rachel. That's a good, an inference that perhaps they were. No, Ann Gibson, I'm not. I'm not thinking of a certain book. What I'm thinking of is, how about this? Let's lay this on the line right here. Was Lori ever sealed in the temple with any of her husbands? Does anybody know? Was Chad Daybell and Tammy Daybell sealed in the temple? Does anybody know? I think Chad Daybell and Tammy were. Am I correct in this? Because there are things that I'm going to be bringing to y'all's attention here. I kind of was like, I'm going to kind of sidestep this whole issue of this belief system and all that. Because, folks, everyone deserves to believe whatever they want to believe. Who am I anyway to say anything? So I'm like, I'm going to sidestep this. But I have been, you think that I just come on here and we talk about everything, and we do. But KJ also does a lot of research as well. And I do look at things and I lay things up against everything. And in this case, what I will be bringing to y'all's attention absolutely relates with Chad Daybell. So, I was just wondering, does anybody know if Lori was sealed in the temple to any of her husbands? I hope somebody's got the answer to that. And if you don't and you can find out, you can put it in the comments for the rewatch section. And I do believe Chad Daybell was sealed in the temple with Tammy. I'm just positive of it. And I'm not telling y'all where this is going, because once I put it together and fit it together, this has more to do with this idea and question about, how much did Chad and Lori really believe, even if it was nothing like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which I disagree now. I think they picked and choosed a lot of stuff. But there are some things that I've uncovered, and I want to share it with the Rays, because I know that in Chad's upcoming trial, these questions are going to have answers, and even things that I have found answers for will play out in Chad's trial, in my opinion. And when we do see this trial, you're going to be like, we talked about this. And here it is. Maria P. says, I don't think Lori was sealed with anyone except she pretended to deal with Chad. Okay, there it goes. That's where I'm going next. I was waiting for somebody to say whether or not they thought. Thank you, Mary Seidler. I appreciate that. I'm sure they've got a lot of information. But this whole idea that Melanie Gibb gets on the stand at Lori's trial and says, well, they weren't in a sealing room, they were in another area or whatever, but she does say they thought they sealed each other, okay? Or that maybe there were other people there. I don't know. It isn't about the religion, it's the radicalized members that are the issue. Fanatics are scary no matter the religion. Janelle Murphy says, I'm sure he probably was, but there are many who are sealed in the temple and end up getting a divorce. Chad really had a special belief that his salvation would be lost if he got a divorce. Yeah, Rachel, I'm going to send Kresha a text on that just to see what information, because she's got a lot. And that's going to probably fit in with some things that I'm wanting to share. I might just take the whole amount, just give it to Kresha and let her deal with it. But I think it's important for Chad Daybell's upcoming trial. So Rachel Black says, Kay or Kresha might know if they sealed Joshua to them when he was adopted. Okay, so Rachel Black, there you go. This is another thing that's going to be talked about. When we're talking about getting sealed in a marriage, that's that automatic sealing of your children into the situation. Example, two young people get married in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They get sealed in the temple. They go on to have children. Those children are automatically sealed. I think some of y'all might understand where I'm going with this, but it's to lay other information up against it to kind of give us a bird's eye view of just how much of a belief system Chad or Lori or even the rest of these cult members had. Janelle Murphy says not everybody thinks that way, and you're correct. There are all kinds of religious beliefs all over the world. It really comes down to crossing over that line of criminality. But at the same time, it does give me room for pause when I think how there were so many people that just thought Chad Daybell was the best of the best and he was such a good member of the church and all of this other stuff. Even if you put aside, right? Put aside the adulterous affair. Say Chad never had an adulterous affair. Could people still say he was a good guy? Yes, Maria P. Chad did want the life insurance money. And it's absolutely bared out through all these couple of years that we've talked about all this. It's very interesting how many of these people are in the insurance business. It's crazy, really. So I am going to be doing a pre-record. I don't know if I'll have it released today or tomorrow. I think I'm going to try to get it done and release it tomorrow so that we can get together on Friday. I'm going to be a little more disciplined, but I won't be speaking of that. This will be a pre-record that I'm going to be doing. And then after Friday, y'all, I'm not going to be back with y'all until Sunday evening when Ma and Pa is going to come and spend some time with the Rays on Christmas Eve. And then I'm going to be taking me a short break after Christmas because we've got things we're going to be doing. Also, we're leaving for Orlando at the end of the month. We're going to the Cheez-It Bowl with Tennessee playing Iowa. And so old KJ is going to be indisposed for, a little bit. So we'll just, we'll get back together when we do. And of course, I always do my very best to stay on top of the community wall, which to me is more important than anything that I could put on a live feed or a pre-record. It's just keeping us all connected in many ways. I cannot stand to be away from you guys. Good morning, Stephanie Willow. Likelihood that Ruby was sealed to Kevin is he worked at BYU and they have standards, etc. Well, there you go. Rachel's looking at the whole environmental situation on that. I'm pretty sure that that's the situation. How about this, y'all? Let's throw this out here. How about Spring Thibodeau or whatever and her husband? Spring, the one that took Blaze off and now she's been extradited back to Arizona. How about her brother, that hell fella? I mean, him and his wife are split up. Are they divorced? Were they all sealed in the temple? Wonder. Good morning, love is a 4-letter word. Good morning, Jackie Goosen. The bottom line on all of it is there is absolutely a wealth of knowledge when it comes to even down to adopted children like JJ was. And it's interesting that you have some of the statements that were made by Chad Daybell. And by the way, for those that don't know, Kresh is reviewing a lot of things that we've already touched on and putting it in a different light about Chad Daybell to get everyone prepared for the Chad Daybell trial. So if you have a chance, you need to go. She's already started doing this. Things to remind everyone. Of course, you would think, oh, I know all this and I know that, but some things that I missed out on that I didn't even know about. Remember, we always used to talk about it. Go back and watch Chad's preliminary hearing or something, and maybe something now that we know what we know now with Lori and her trial, especially her statement in sentencing, it will really enlighten you. So I highly encourage any and all of y'all that don't know to go over to Difficult Research with Kresha K. Easton and start getting reintroduced to a lot of things, because there are things that are going to pop out to you in your own perspective that might not pop out for someone else. Ann Gibson, I've been pretty well strong on the fact that I think it was all for show. I don't think Kevin's going to go through with the divorce. Carrie Ann says, my oldest daughter turns 26 today. It's crazy how time flies. I also get to go watch my little man's Christmas program today at school. I hope that you all get to have a great day as well. Love you all, says Carrie Ann. I remember, Carrie Ann, when my sons would have their Christmas programs at school. Oh, I miss them being little boys. And congratulations to your daughter and her 26th birthday. Y'all don't know what old KJ might have been doing when I was 26. I was raising those boys, but I was a whippersnapper. And, just to think back, what were you doing at age 26, huh? Other than raising children, there's got to be things in your life that stand out about being 26. Oh, Stephanie Willow, today is also my birthday, but I'm slightly older. Well, happy birthday, Stephanie Willow. I hope you have a beautiful birthday. Fancy Nancy says, happy birthday to your daughter, Carrie. Happy birthday, says Olive Haley. Good morning, everyone, says Harley62. I hadn't seen you in a while, Harley. Oh, now you do something good for yourself, Stephanie. I don't care what anybody says. Sometimes you got to do things for yourself in order to celebrate yourself. Fancy Nancy says, happy birthday, Stephanie. Beach Lady says, happy birthday. Norma Gorilla says, happy birthday, Stephanie. Olive says, at 26, was expecting my third daughter. There you go, Olive. Wow. Happy birthday, Stephanie, says Harley62. Oh, Carrie Ann says, happy birthday, Stephanie. Stephanie says, thank you, everyone, and everybody. Jax Gustafson, Jackie Goodson, that is so sweet. You know what? Birthdays are so special, and one's coming up, y'all. The birth of Jesus Christ. Now, I know that's my belief. Maybe other people don't. Believe that. That's fine. But okay, you just think about it. We get gifts on our birthday, right? Hopefully, or a card or something, or at least people saying happy birthday. But when Jesus was born on his birthday, when he was born, he gave gifts to the world. Oh, but his birth was prophecy fulfilled that we were all going to be reconciled with God the Father if we have faith in that. Jesus, Maria P says, happy birthday, Jesus. Yes, and this is, the 25th is what everybody says is, the official birthday of Jesus. We don't know for sure what day that is. Some claim to know that. But, it don't matter to me what the day, actually, the exact date. The fact that we celebrate that every year is fine with old KJ. Olive says, baby Jesus' birthday. Barry Seidler says, I'm so glad I was 26 many moons ago. The laws was so different and I was a wild child. Happy birthday. Oh, that's sweet, Carrie Ann. Have fun at that Christmas program. I'm going to tell you what, I've got pictures and I've also got memories in here of just envisioning my sons when they were little, having to sing those Christmas songs. There were times where they were dressed up as cute little elves and things of that sort. I remember Andrew, y'all. He dressed up like a little Indian on Thanksgiving. It was so cute. I still got the picture. Nicole says, I always think birthdays are so backwards. The moms are the ones that should get the gifts, LOL. After all, we did all the work. That's interesting that you would say that, Nicole. Very interesting that you would say that. Because Ma is going to have a really deep, introspective talk with Pa on Christmas Eve about some of those issues. It's going to be quite interesting. I think y'all will enjoy it. I know for a fact, if you've got any little bitty bit of funny bone in you, I'm going to get a smile out of y'all on Christmas Eve. And for those that are going to be busy on Christmas Eve, go back and watch it. Mr. Wayne and I are going to be Ma and Pa, just like we were last Christmas. And we're going to have a good time. Ann Gibson says, I go to midnight mass on Christmas Eve. Isn't that sweet? That's wonderful, Ann. And by the way, my mother's name was Ann. But it was A-N-N-E. It wasn't Annie. It was just Ann, A-N-N-E, which goes back to this whole thing. Is it Frank or is it Frankie? I think it's Frank. But everyone's been saying Frankie, so I don't know. Yes, Olive. Loved Christmas when kids were young. They grew up so fast. Based on John the Baptist's birth, Jesus' actual birth is September 29th, but I doubt Jesus is okay. I doubt Jesus is okay with December 25th. Well, to each your own, Mary Seidler. All I know is I celebrate the birth of Jesus every year, and I'm okay with that. I think it's just one of those little things that, can sidetrack a person, when ultimately it's really about the birth of Christ. So, but that's just me. I understand where you're coming from. Fancy Nancy says, my mom was an Ann too. She is celebrating with Dad and Jesus in heaven. Harley62 says, oh, I can't wait, KJ. I'll be by myself and my dog, so it will be special being with KJ and Wayne there. And the Rays, Harley62. We're going to have fun. We're definitely going to have fun. Y'all, I mean, if I can come out during Thanksgiving and, sing and act like an idiot, y'all, that one video, because I want to be there for people that are by themselves. But make no mistake, there have been times in my life, before Wayne obviously, that I could have been around all kinds of people, but I felt alone inside. And I know what that feels like. And, it's to each their own. Everyone feels the way they do. But for me, I have my heart strings just tug, tug, tug when it comes to being there for other people that are actually alone. And you're not really alone, are you? Just as I put that video of the motels of me acting silly and lip syncing the motel song, you are never alone. The hashtag was put on that vid. Yes, KJ can act really silly at times, but I enjoy it, and I like to keep people off balance a little bit, not in a bad way. I just like, what is she going to come up with next? That's what I try to do, to kind of alleviate the seriousness of all the things that we have to deal with. It's just my own way of dealing and being who I am. So it's just something different. Salmonella says, Christmas is about sharing, not taking. Well, there you go, Salma. Oh, love is a 4-letter word, says KJ. My mom is Shirley Ann. Well, there you go. There you go. So anyway, y'all, I am going to be shooting that pre-record. We will get back together. I'm going to kind of put it a little short today, under an hour. I apologize for that, but I still got to get my hair done, and I got things I got to do today. But be looking for that pre-record. It is some things that perhaps, and I really believe this, the subject and content of it, there are going to be some that are going to be able to educate me and school me. These are just my impressions. And yes, time and time again, y'all know KJ's got that streak of ignorance. I'm not stupid, but I can be ignorant about things. So y'all have a great day, and just if anyone hears anything that KJ needs to know about, please help me. KJ, I've been blessed this year. My mom came home after 14 months in a nursing home. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Maria P says, Merry Christmas, everyone. May you all be blessed with good health. Olive says, blessings, everyone. I know good and dang well that we've got some people on here that's got love, love, love. Fancy Nancy says, Merry Christmas to all the Rays. May God bless everyone. KJ, glad you're taking some time with your family. Mary Seidler says, have a great day, everyone. Harley62 wants love is a 4-letter word to know that Harley62 admires them. And y'all take care and have a wonderful Wednesday. And we'll get back together soon, y'all. Keep on looking.